Hello, everybody. My name is NCeeks, and welcome back to The Breakdown, a series where I break down a certain gaming esports topic. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the recent CWL roster move changes. I'm going to be grading them S through D, and I'm going to be talking about the less impactful ones and moving with the more impactful ones as the video continues. To start off, I'm going to quickly skim through UIU. UIU recently made the roster change to drop Gorgo Knight and pick up Royalty. B plus, solid roster move. I believe Royalty just to be a better player. It's just gonna help them. I don't think it's not a terrible roster move, and it's not a great roster move. It's just a solid roster move that they made. Moving on to Enigma 6. Enigma 6 recently made the roster move to drop Chino and Diabolic and pick up GodRx and Jet Li. Great pick. Great roster move. Fantastic. I'm gonna give it an A plus. No, I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A. Could go to A plus. GodRx deserved to be in the Pro League, one of the best players to not be in the Pro League. I believe this is just solid. This solidified it as an A for me. Jet Li is a solid player. He's going to help the team out a lot. This team recently got top 6, I believe, at Fort Worth. So this is only good for them. So I'm happy they made this roster change. So I'm going to give them an A. Moving on with Elevate. Elevate recently bought the Accelerate GG roster spot and picked up Skies, Profizi, Whalers, Emeruis, another French player, I believe his name to be Brezzi. I'm going to give this roster move a B minus, maybe a B. For what they had to work with, I believe this roster to be very solid. It has some talent on this roster. This roster does not have an X factor player to take them to that next level. They're going to work with a lot more teamwork, kind of like what Accelerate GG did. So I see this roster maybe upsetting some few top-level teams. I just don't see them getting top 4 or winning an event. So I'm going to leave them at a B minus, B, maybe an A if they surprise me and take out a top team. Moving on to Denial Esports. Denial Esports recently dropped their entire roster and picked up Bance, Joe, Rated, Alex, and Brack. I'm going to give this roster an A. This roster move an A. I'm very happy that the 3 Red Reserve players got on the team, and I'm very happy Alex got in the league. Alex deserved to be in the league. He was a top 3 player to not make the Pro League since the Pro League qualifier, and for some reason was not picked up in the first roster mania. 100% that deserved to be on a league team. One of the best ARs from the Pro League qualifier and Vegas, in my opinion. The strong suit about this team is their AR presence. I mean, they have Rated at the main ICR, and they're going to have Alex and Brack at the main Maddox players. I mean, that's a recipe for slaying. That's a recipe for frags. I mean, Brack is a top 6, top 7 Maddox in the game right now. Alex could easily make his way into that category as well. I believe he's going to play Maddox. He might play ICR. I could be wrong about that. I don't think I am though. Their AR presence and their AR game is very strong. I don't think that will be the problem with this team if there is a problem. I believe the problem will be their submachine gun players with Joe and Vance. No offense to them, I just believe they need to step up. They have not been playing their true potential. In my opinion, I believe they can play a lot better than what they are showing. And that is why I'm going to keep this team hovering around an A. They could surprise me and more go into like an S tier, but I'm going to leave them an A. Solid roster. Can't wait to see Alex and Brack play with each other. That's my favorite part of this roster. Moving forward, we have FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan recently made the roster move to pick up Zero Scraps, Zim, Celium, and Zuma. I'm going to give this roster move an A plus. This roster has a lot of raw talent. It has a lot of raw talent, very skilled roster. Celium being obviously the young gun with Simp coming into the league. The thing with this roster that one thing with this roster that could affect them. I say this is my opinion about this roster. I think this roster could be either really good, like grand finals potential, or it could just roam around top 8. Something about this roster I mean, you fill the roles pretty well. But at the same time, one, I don't think you have like a true leader on the team. You have Zuma. I believe he could lead this team. I just don't know if he can lead it to a championship. I mean, you obviously have the talent. You have Scraps, who's a arguably top 5 player, top 3 player in the game. You have Zero, who has the potential to be a very dominant player in the game. You have Celium, who showed himself at the PLQ. He was beaming kids. I mean, he was one of the best players at the PLQ. And then Zim, another top AM coming into the pro league scene as a SOG player, and obviously Zuma, we know what to expect from him. He did play with Optic in the pro league, so we have seen what Zuma can do, obviously, and we know how Zuma is. This team is it's very talented, skill-wise. Again, it's very talented, gun skill-wise, just pure talent, very talented team. I think this team could. Just something about it, could struggle. This team could struggle, I think, when taking out top-level competition. I mean, he didn't play against the top-level competition. He only played against teams that... I mean, he played against top-level competition, but he didn't play against, like, LG, Optic, Splice, like the top 3 teams in the game. He didn't play against that level of competition and, that level of, players. So I believe this team could have trouble when it comes to your young guns. But I have high hopes in this team, so I'm going to leave them at an A. But this team definitely could go into an S tier ranking and go to a grand finals. I mean, again, you have Scraps in the lineup. So moving on to Envy. Envy, I'm going to give an A+, but no. I'm giving them a C+ to an S tier. And it's kind of like cheating the system, but this roster could either burn in flames and, burn down, or it could be the best roster in the game, in my opinion. They recently made the change to drop Assault and Apathy and pick up Pharaoh and Decimate. Now, this roster, again, in my opinion, this roster could be a team that could go to the grand finals. This team has the talent. This team has the roles set. What scares me about this team is there's a lot of young guns on the team. There's a lot of young guns. There's a lot of high-level talent. Those young guns are the best players on the team, being Pharaoh, Decimate, Hugh. Silly's not young good. But here's the thing. Aches wasn't even supposed to be on this roster to start off. So my whole thing is, Aches is the leader of the team 100%. He is the fucking leader of this team, and he knows how to lead teams. He's a great leader. That's how he beats these top-level teams. It's not with the gun skill. It's with leading the players and outsmarting the enemies. If the young guns decide not to listen to Aches, I think this roster could crumble and get top 16, top 12. That's what scares me with this roster. But if the young guns decide to listen to Aches, this roster has the highest ceilings in the game. So I'm going to get this roster again ranging from a C+ to an S tier. I believe this roster could win a tournament if they don't implode on themselves. So again, I'm going to leave it from a C to an S tier. Our last roster move will be Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses made the roster move to drop their entire roster except 2 players, those 2 players being Attach and Exotic, and picking up JCap, Apathy, and Phantoms. I believe, mark my words, when Champs comes around, this team will surprise everybody and potentially get top 3. Let me tell you why real fast. One, this roster right now, I don't think will do that well. I think they'll maybe get top 12, top 8 at London, and maybe even Anaheim. But the thing with this roster is these players, come Champs time, they show up. JCap, Apathy have proved year and year when Champs comes, they turn up and they show why they are all-time greats. Even Attach shows that he's a Champs-esque player. Exotic playing extremely well, one of the highest KDs, I believe, in Hardpoint or Respawn right now. And here's the thing with Phantoms. Phantoms reminds me of an Octane with his playstyle and just how he is as a player. If JCap can mold him into an Octane-esque player, this team come Champs time is going to be scary. That's what I'm going to say about this team. I'm going to give them an A right now, but this team could be one of the best teams come champs time. Alright, everybody, that'll be the end of the breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next chapter.